Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning,
Morning,
y'all.
morning, morning.
It is morning. It is
It's
morning.
a-
I'm over here. Yeah, it is morning. I'm sipping the rest of this wine over here, trying to clean out all my alcohol and be done with this stuff, man.
you drinking Jesus juice this early in the morning?
Like, hey, man, like I said, I wanted to finish it off, brother. Hey,
Hey,
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
you're not a quitter. I'll give you
That's the attitude I like to have, man. Oh man, but no, it's not just a little taste, like John Witherspoon said. Just a little taste, man. So
just a light perm. Okay,
just a light. Bing.
okay.
Man, Redick is so cool, man.
The first thing that stands out is your name, Redick. I bet you when that Vin Diesel movie dropped, you was like, yeah, Redick. Oh, my name is Rick. You see it, don't you? Redick.
Man, one hospital I worked at, they called me Chronicles. And not too long ago, Ben came out on his Instagram, on his social media, and announced that they had completed the script for part 4 to the Chronicles of Riddick series. Well, trilogy now, quadruple, wow. But Furia. And so that's one of those gigs I would love to be. I would take a background role. I would hold some coffee on that one, because he's a really good actor. He's been able to show his range, and I like that particular series. That movie, that installation is kind of cool. It's dope. I like the way they shoot it, and I love his attention to detail. He wants it to be right.
I agree. Totally agree, man. Man, I already know it's gonna be a great interview. Like I said earlier, you got so many stories. But my first time meeting you, brother, was a couple years ago, and this was another scene where we all improv, and it was supposed to be a debate going on with a couple other actors as well. And the director was saying, y'all feed off each other, and y'all just improv. And it's like you're in a relay race or tag teaming, and we throw it to each other. We finish. We don't step over each other unless the scene calls for it or if we get the feel for it. And Redick was just so smooth and cool with the way how he would drop his lines. He'll say this. He'll say this and this and this. He just leaned back. He'll get back up. And he was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He just leaned back. He was just smooth with it, man, and it was just so cool. And after that, we chopped it up, talked a little bit, conversate, and I was like, man, this brother just cool. So yeah, man, your improv skills, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. You know what? I've been a student to the game longer than I really recognize. From the time I was little, we've all seen that episode of Sanford and Son when they gave somebody's homeboy a role to come in and say something like, that ain't it.
Yeah.
And you're like, hold up, wait a minute, how did he get on set? But at the same time, I've noticed the greats, the Denzels, the Anthony Hopkins, the oh my God, what's the guy that says these two youths? Is that Al Pacino? No. What's his name? The other guy.
Robert De Niro.
De Niro. You gotta give the scene time to marinate. You can't just say your line and just wait for the other person to talk and then jump in. No, somebody says something. I have something to say, and I might need to take a pause and make sure I can see that you received it. But the body language is something that I learned from an interview with James Earl Jones. Said when he was younger, they had a TV, and once in a while the volume would cut out. So you're left to watch body language and facial reactions. And it kind of showed him just how important it is for not just the words to be right, the tone to be right, but the body language, the facial reactions. It all has to come together for relatability and believability. And so that's what I want any project I go to show that I can become who I need to be for the character, to give whoever's opposite of me what they need for the scene to happen.
So what actually drew you to getting into acting? What kind of inspired you to kind of get into acting?
You know what? I was in a very uncharted territory in my life, going through I was separated, imminent divorce, and I was looking to rebuild myself. I was feeling like I was losing I wasn't comfortable with my situation. It's like, okay, I've never felt like this. I don't have control. I can't steer this. And so I was looking at motivational videos and trying to find a little inspiration. And I'll never forget this one particular video I watched. The guy was saying that you need to make a list of things you always want to do and not make it a bucket list and wait until you're 65 with bad knees to do it immediately. He's like, the problem with people is that they plan so far in the future that they forget about today. And having worked in medical and working in dialysis, it seemed to be like the perfect storm, because I had like 3 patients in like weeks apart from each other, where that they got done with their dialysis treatment and I pushed them back to their room. And so you get to talk to these patients. And these 3 particular patients all had the same type of message for me, like, don't wait so far in advance to do the things you want to do. Look at me. You know, one guy was saying, I worked in energy, oil for a long time. I retired. My wife and I made plans to travel and get an RV and do this and that. I got bored and I got back into work and I never took those trips. And look at me now. He's like, don't make the same mistake I made. Live your life, young man. Whatever you want to do, go after it. And all 3 of these people said this, and within 24 hours, they passed. Like, I came back to the hospital, one passed at 3, one passed at 12, one passed the next day at some point later, but I was one of the few people that got to get their last words. They probably talked to a nurse that came into their room throughout the night to check their vitals and everything else. But as far as a full conversation, I was the last person they talked to at length. And so that stuck with me. And so that motivated me to take my first acting class. And I took the first acting class. It was 3 acting coaches. And when we got done, you got to meet with all 3 of the coaches to get their feedback. And all 3 of the coaches had the same response, the same, like, what have you done? I ain't done nothing. This is my first time even, trying this. Oh my God, your body language, the things that you can't coach, you do perfectly. I was like, really? Okay. So that in itself was motivational for me to, it was inspirational. It was, I believe there are signs if you pay attention. And that was a sign for me to actually pursue it.
It's a story right there, man. That's very powerful, very motivating. And I know that's resonant. That hits you right there. Yeah. And that, because I have a similar story like that, not quite like yours, but I mean, it's a lot to take in with what just happened. And then, working in the medical field, and it's like, it hits you hard when you say, I just spoke to this person. You come in the next day and be like, hey, how is such and such? And they're like, such and such is.
You know what? The first one, they didn't even ask. It's like when I first got into work and I was headed to my department, I talked to everybody. So the lady at the front desk, and she's like, baby, I passed last night, not too long after you left, around 3 a.m. I got off around 12. 3 hours later, he passed. And it's, I guess the way I look at it is such a cold place, such a, to be that alone, and the people that come in and out of your room are strangers. It's not like you're at home, you're dying in a place where that you're comfortable. This is warm. There's a picture of my family over there and this.
Yeah.
No, it's like you went to a hotel and you never got to check out.
Yeah. That's deep.
Until you checked out.
Until you checked out. Absolutely. What about your voice acting? How did you get into that?
You know what? I was working at Reliant Energy call center and their retention department. So I got the worst phone calls all day, every day. I need an extension. Y'all supposed to turn my power on yesterday and my breast milk is going bad. I'm talking about, I had I had people who started the conversation with, what the is going on? You are the 13th. And I'm like, well, good morning. And okay. So let me get your account number so I can pull up your account, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to try to see what's going on and get you taken care of. They started on 10, bro. And they call me the de-escalation king because those are my favorite calls. I mean, I was bored. I'm one of those personality types that you can throw you can throw anything you want. You ain't touching me, and don't say nothing about my mama, and we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But I have a great way of understanding the biggest rule in dealing with somebody who has an issue is not telling them what they just told you. Don't repeat what the problem is. Look for a solution. It's like if I was calling you about a problem, so you're saying, yeah, I just said that. You heard me say that. What can we do about it is where I'm at right now. But I had a lot of customers who, I'll never forget one call in particular. I would get about 5-7 compliments on my voice a day. And it started to really etch into my head that I might have, something to work with as far as voiceover work. And I'll never forget one time this lady called me on speakerphone and I was helping her, with a bill. And her husband was like, wow, he has a really great voice. And I was like, oh, good morning to you too, sir. How are you? He's like, man, I was just telling my wife, you have a great voice. Yeah, I heard you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, even the old ladies who are like, ooh, if I was 30 years younger, baby, I love you. What are you doing at the line? You need to be on somebody's radio station. I listen to you. Delilah needs a co-host.
We just got through talking about old Marco Spoon.
But it was enough to actually, really push the envelope where I'm like, okay, well, it's a lot of people, even my coworkers and the people who listen to the calls in quality assurance, like, Redick, you have a really good voice. Have you ever thought about, and I used to play around, like, during lunch, you go into this break room and it's a floor to ceiling window and you're looking over City Hall. And I had this one coworker who would come, we took our lunch around the same time, and she would ask me, Redick, what that weather look like? And that's exactly how she would say it. Redick, what that weather look like?
Yeah.
I would go up to the window like I was literally a weatherman.
Wow.
I was bored. That's just in my nature, have fun. Well, right now, if you look over the viewing area, you'll see that we have some light precipitation moving in over the area. The kiddos will need their booties when they get out of school, so make sure you pack an umbrella.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
just
nice.
have fun with it.
You see, you got a good reception with your voice. Mine's just like, you sound like a 10-year-old. You sound like a 14-year-old kid.
But there's a niche for that. Once you know what your niche is and what your voice is perfect for, it's like I had that conversation with my voiceover coach today, and he was like, oh, I asked him, what if you were to give me a direction in which avenue to go for voiceover, because you can do promotional, you can do informative, you can do documentary, you can do so many different, sections. There are so many different avenues to do animation. He's like, you have a Redick, you could do just about anything. Knowing your range, knowing how to make those slight adjustments from being an announcer to being relatable, like it's just me and you talking. And I'm gonna tell you, you know what? I know what you mean, Jim. Things have been slowing down for me and Cindy as well. But my friend told me about Blue Chill, and that stuff works. So it just depends about which direction you want to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's cool. See, that's what I'm saying. I want to know what Blue Chew. I think I want that now.
No, you don't. You want some? No, you don't. You want some ashwagandha and sea moss if you want to be real. I am a nutritional person, and I would never take anything over the counter because your body becomes dependent on it. And I work in medical enough to know that those ingredients don't come out the ground.
Agreed.
Accelerate your heart rate. You're gonna stroke out before you stroke out.
Up.
So wait.
It'll be the last mic drop. It'll be the last mic drop ever. Okay. So no, I don't want you to do that.
So there's sea moss and what else?
Ashwagandha, testosterone building exercises, lunges, squats, things that force you to use your core and your lower body, build your testosterone. That works. Endurance, cardio. Give a damn. That's all. Amen. Kettlebell swings. All that stuff works.
That's funny because I actually got my kettlebell, my jump rope, and I have some CMOS too. Because
I don't do the jump rope. I don't do the jump rope. It's hard on your knees and your ankles.
So okay, so
Yeah,
don't do the jump rope.
No, it is.
No.
It'll
Just
wear
like
you
jumping,
out.
just like they outlawed jumping jacks because it was hurting kids' knees. All you're doing is just repeatedly putting pressure. I've been in a room to enough surgeries to see knee replacement. That's the worst sound you want. It's the worst thing you can hear is that medical mallet putting that ball into place for your new knee. No, you don't want that.
Okay.
You that balancing act for a health segment.
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two.
Right. So should we X out burpees as well too, or do you know anything about that?
If you're gonna do burpees, though, I do an exercise a friend got me on called Mayweather's, and basically what that is you have a resistance band on your waist, and you go down into the push-up position. You get up and you do a jump with the resistance band holding you back. You're not trying to jump out the gym. You just want to come up just enough to be 6 inches off the ground, come back down, and go back into the push-up, jump up, stop, and do a light jump. Don't people get it twisted and they get too much. They're jumping for the moon. It doesn't take all that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, I know it's gonna be great. I know this brother dropping gems, man. He's dropping some. Y'all talk to Redick, man. Straight up, man.
Absolutely.
So yes, tell us some stories about your experiences on set and some people you've worked with or had a chance to work with.
Oh man, I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of people, not just on set, but just in life. Wow, it's a lot of people I worked with recently. Last year, I was privileged to work on set of a Ben Affleck movie, Hypnotic. I can't go into too much detail, but I can't wait to see the final edits. Like 5 things that are going to be coming out later this year that I'm excited to see the final. I could talk about it, and then you look at it, and I look at it and be like, oh, that scene didn't get added to the final edit.
Right.
So I don't really like to give the details of any scenes I've done until I've been able to see it to know that okay, it does exist. But Mo Amir, the comedian from A-Leaf who opens for Dave Chappelle, got to work on a Netflix series with him. He's a really cool friend, somebody I actually know. So it was great to work with someone who I saw start off from the beginning, selling CDs out of their car to opening up for one of the hottest comedians on the planet. And also got to have him to open for him when he did his tour. So always happy to see people I know hit that next level.
Yeah.
Being on set with somebody is great. Being able to actually say I was on set and I got to meet this person, because a lot of times you can be on set and never meet the person who's the featured actor or actress for that. And they have a funny way of keeping people separated because they don't want fandom or people that want to take out their phones and take selfies. And actors are in their head going over their lines. They're walking in circles, getting ready for the next scene, and they're going over their lines. And that's why they do that. They keep you separated. And you have people over there, I wonder if I could go take a selfie. No, you will get asked to leave if you bother that person.
Yeah.
But when you get to actually have lines with somebody, and you get to actually be in a scene with them and get to have the conversation with them. Yeah, once you've gotten a kind of dialogue with them and they're like asking you questions and it's cool and you're done and you're a wrap for the day, at that point, yeah, hey, you mind if I get a selfie? My mom loves you. That always works for me. So I've worked with a lot of local people. I've worked with my boy Rock Living. We've known each other for a long time, and that's my partner in crime right there. So I was happy to work with him on 3-Way. Jonathan Milton film with Ashley Denise, and, Kamari Love, and Brandy Specs. It was just an all-star cast. It was a fun shoot, and these are people who I'm friends with outside of work. So that was one in particular where that I know probably majority of the names on that set.
And that's what's so dope about it, like how you're saying the I guess you want to say the term for it is having an actor's etiquette and being respectful towards who you are sharing the screen with as well. Trying your best not to turn into like a fanboy or fangirl. I'm like, oh, that's Samuel Jackson. Wait, no, I need to be ready because we know how Sam is. He's like, no, we need to get this thing done.
Look, I lived in New York for 3 years, and one of the places I used to go to, there are two particular locations I would go when I was working. One was, and they're both in the theater district. One was B. Smith's. B. Smith was considered the Black version of Martha Stewart. She had a restaurant in New York. She had one in Martha's Vineyard, DC, I believe, as well. But at the end of the night, I would go in there towards the end because I was dating a girl that was actually became a hostess. I took her to the restaurant and told her, hey, they might need some help. And she got a job there. And so I knew B. I knew her husband, Dan. And there were nights, I'll never forget the night I was sitting between Charles Dutton, who played on the show Rock.
Yeah.
What's his name? From The Color Purple. Oh my God.
Danny
Glover.
Danny Glover, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Matthew Broderick.
Oh, wow.
And then Norm Macdonald walked in, the voice of death on Family Guy. And I'm right there in the middle talking to these established actors. This is years ago. This is 99. And I was going to places, and there was one spot I was sitting between Katie Couric and Freddie Jackson having a glass of wine and green lip mussels.
Man,
I just happened to go to different places, even though I wasn't from there. The places I went to had the opportunity for me to meet people who I had seen on TV. And yeah, if you're going to be on set, at the very least, act like you've been there before, even if you haven't.
Right.
Yeah. The way you carry yourself is not just going to be seen by the people you're starstruck by, but production, the people who are in a position to have a need that you could very well possibly fit and could be called back for another production. And your reputation is going to be what affords you those opportunities for future consideration. I've worked with him. Oh, he's good. He shows up 15 minutes early. Most times I show up, it's very rare that wardrobe has asked me to change clothes. I'll go to Banana Republic in a second and get a whole new fit and be ready to show up ready. When they don't have to ask you to cut your nails, little things. Yeah. You're professional and you're about it. And that's a big thing. When you're in front of these cameras and you haven't scrubbed your face and slapped on some lotion and brushed your teeth and used some charcoal and some shea butter and act like you don't show up and say, okay, make me a star. No, show up like you're ready right now. When they say in the call sheet, when they say show up camera ready, yeah, that means, show up camera ready, like you're ready to go for the time you step outside your car. They pay attention to that. It all gets, they have their meetings, they have their conversations, and they talk about the talent, and they talk about the people who were selected. And there is a list that you get put on. And I've seen that I get emails from particular productions because it was a great experience, not just for them, but for me.
What they say, stay ready so you have to get ready.
I tell my son that every time I'm trying to get his butt to school.
Got charcoal and shea butter. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Is that the charcoal for the face or the shea butter?
They got it for both. Origins has a charcoal mask you can put on, and then there are so many different versions of charcoal toothpaste and the black toothbrush that basically is going to, the camera picks up everything. These cameras are 6K they're every pore, every hair, every follicle. And the last thing you want is to be looking at the final product like, damn, is that a booger? It's like, what is that shit right there? Like, is that crud in my eye? Hey, I have seen it where they had to stop and say, and I've actually watched this happen where they cut and the assistant came from the booth watching the video, whispered to the lady who's over wardrobe, he needs to cut his nails. Wow. Oh, man, wow. Really? It's as simple as that. Like, do that.
Attention to detail, especially in the world we live in now where social media, it's like, the scene could be so amazing. Like, for example, Game of Thrones. I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones fan or not, but we always talk about I always talk about this with people that the final season of Game of Thrones, when Daenerys is sitting down and there's a Starbucks cup right there.
I remember that.
And, yeah, and it's the scene is so great, the acting, everything, lighting, everything's on point. But it's just that one thing that's standing out.
Man, it just blew it out. It blew it up.
But yeah. You know what? You're touching on a topic that I had an exchange with someone on Instagram yesterday in regards to, I believe the show is called Kings of Napa. And they were pointing out, they made an observation of an error. And I was like, you know, it's sort of like a restaurant situation. If I own a restaurant, if you own a restaurant and I had a bad experience, would you want me to go to social media and tell everybody? Or would you like for me to come up to you and say, hey, you know, this isn't how we say that, or this doesn't make it look real because it's actually this. Now you're exposing that to everybody to see, instead of giving the people who are in a position of correcting it the opportunity to take care of it. I want to see all of us succeed, and I can't be a supporter if I'm going to point out the chinks in your armor for everyone to know where you are weak. I'm not being supportive of you if I'm going to do that. So, you know, it's a matter of me knowing how much work, dedication, time, and money goes into a show going from concept to creation, and all the people who are getting paid from it. Are you trying to support that? Are you trying to subject that to being less than what it could be?
I agree.
Awesome.
Totally agree.
Have you done anything with your son? You and your son being on any like sets or short films, anything like that?
Funny that you should ask, my friend. I recently threw my hat into content creation. Now, yeah, we, the Slayer of Fortnite and I have been featured on a Barbasol commercial. That was the first thing we ever did as a father-son duo. It's a national commercial. It's still coming on randomly, like on the Golf Channel and other sports-related channels. But I threw my hat into the content creation arena. And Christmas Eve last year, we got to shoot my first concept. And it's featuring my son and I, and it's about patience and understanding.
Oh, God.
And so it hasn't been released just yet. It was picked up, and the client loved it. And so it's just the two of us. And there are some more things I plan on doing with him, just for fun, for us to do.
Right.
You know, just things that I've gotten so many ideas. I've talked to people who work with, I used to be a teacher, junior high school health, and I have friends who work with junior high school kids.
Wow.
I would like to create more content that's positive, that shows, you know, one in particular is about bullying. You know, kids in junior high can be very, very, you know, you got some kid, and a lot of times when we were younger, we just thought, man, that guy's butt, that girl is just, you know, whatever. Well, we never followed them home. We never lived inside those four walls that they had to go call home. You have, you know, you never know what people are dealing with. And when they get to school, I had somebody who just did not like me in junior high. And years later in high school, asked me for a ride home and apologized because they were jealous.
Wow.
And he said, man, you're getting out of, you know, your mom's pretty. You get out the car, you're smiling. I dropped him off at the house. I was like, damn, it's a big difference. You know, I thought that was big of him. I thought it was a great, an honest, you know, exchange for him to be able to, you know, come full circle and, for one, ask me for a ride home.
Yeah.
And take the opportunity to tell me why he was an ass to me in high school, in junior high. So, you know, I think something like that inspired me to start thinking of what could I write to kind of show kids that we have more alike than we do different. We might come from different backgrounds and houses, but at the end of the day, we're all kids. We're all just, you know, why create, you know, divides? It's enough of that. When you become an adult, you'll see all the divides in the world. But, you know, try to keep some of that innocence pure, where that, you know, look, there's no reason for us to be fighting each other.
And that's great that you're able to do some of these things with your son and to take him along with your experience. I know if I had my little girl with me, I remember I took her to stunt training, little basic stunt training class. Man, so I put her off on the side so I can see her. Gave her a little game and things, little snacks, whatever, so she'll be entertained, and I keep my eye on her. But they'll, of course, kid being a kid, want to see what the parents doing, and she looked, and stunt training, you're not fully, when you hit somebody, you're not making full on contact unless you're trying to make it, look a certain way.
Or you got padding.
Or padding, yeah. And so one of my friends, he went before me, and he kicked the guy with the padding, and she said, she, waved to me, and I was like, what are you, like, what's, and I run over there, she said, are you almost finished? Like, no. And she's like, you're not going next, are you? Like, yeah. Well, I don't want you to fight that guy because he's bigger than you. And the way he kicked that guy, it hurts. It's going to hurt. I'm like, it's fake. So,
but that was your daughter protecting you.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, she was sitting over there with the Lunchable, like, I hope he beats his ass.
That would be concerning. Yeah, that would be very concerning. That would be absolutely concerning.
I'm trying to figure out what is that behind me. I know I got a vacuum, but I don't have to think about it right now.
Oh my God, man. She's something else, man. When I'm tired, like she's like, you're like, it's going to hurt. I don't want you to be in pain. I don't like him. We're not physically hurting each other. We just make it look like and sound like it's like, no. So it's just,
yeah, but you know what? That's cool that you it's the same thing I do with my son. Like he's going to watch me do the voiceover thing today. And at one point I'm gonna put the headphones on him and say, okay, let's give you a chance to do it. Do this line and play it back for him so he can hear himself. Yeah. He's a quick study. I mean, I don't even tell him the day before that he has someone interested in him doing a concept video or something. Like right now he's on Amazon app doing the lightsaber commercial for Star Wars lightsaber.
Nice.
He was just like, where are we going? I said Academy. To pick up some shoes and a black shirt, and then we're gonna go to the top of the Hotel Derrick parking lot so he can play with the lightsaber. Yeah. Okay. Is that gonna take long? No. Drone shot. It was cool. He had fun doing it. He's shy.
How old is your son?
He's 10.
Yeah, my son is 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so they really are like at that age, it's all about daddy. Like daddy, like he's the biggest fan supporter of the Just Acting Up show. Like I think he strives on. I was the first subscriber. Mommy ain't even hit the click likes and share button, but I did, daddy, I did. So he rides on that, and he came to set once when we did something at City Hall. He enjoyed it, so he sees it. Went to the t-shirt shop last weekend. But basketball is his thing, so I pushes him towards that. It's so crazy how these kids are, because I don't think I was like that when I was growing up. I was so Sega Genesis and cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, but these kids are like little historians. They will go into this Google universe and they will come back and say, Daddy, did you know that no kid was made in 18 something? And I'm like, no, man, no kid wasn't made in no 18 something. And I go Google it, I'd be like, well, I'll be damned.
It's you know what? On the flip side, it's also no excuse for not knowing the answer, because you have what we didn't have.
Yeah,
we didn't carry the whole Webster encyclopedia
in our back pocket. Yeah,
no, you have information at your fingertips.
Right.
It's, oh my God, I can just imagine. I grew up in an era where that was right before, it was Atari when I was very, very, very little, and then it was Nintendo and Sega. Mm-hmm. But we were outside, man. We were getting dirty on a regular basis. We were playing basketball, football, walking over to U of H blacktop to play basketball. We were walking up to Whataburger in between basketball games. I remember when Gatorade came in 3 flavors in a glass container.
Come on.
Okay, well, you showing
So
your
yeah,
age.
before yeah, that's how old I am. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
But you know, he's a very, very observant, introspective kid. I can tell when the gears are turning, and he thinks he's smarter than me, and I let him. I like the fact that he thinks he's. I want him to excel in every way possible. You know, a real parent wants his child to, you know, go further, go to be better, bigger, everything than they are. But it is funny for me to have those words that my dad and my mom would tell me, well, you're gonna have a kid just like you one day. And sure enough, here he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
That's why every time when my son do something, I say, man, I know I already did it. I know I already did. So you might as well just tell me the truth. You know, I tell him this all the time. It's the same. It's different players. It's the same game. So.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something my dad told me. You know, because we all got to that age where we thought about lying, and we did try to, you know, let me try to cover. I think I might be getting in trouble. Let me lie.
Yeah.
What do I need to say to keep my ass from being sore tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is exactly what, you know. So and one day my dad, you know, came in the room. He asked me a question. He's like, it was something, I think it was like, did you wash or did you do something I was supposed to do? And the way, you know, that pause that you saw me do, the improv, I mean, this is where I got it from.
Yeah.
He came into the room I was in, and he said, and he would use his hand as an ashtray. That shit, it used to flip my head out because I could see I could see the fire come off. So once in a while, the fire, and it wouldn't even make him flinch. He's like, what did I ask you to do before I left the house? Now, think about it for a second, because I already know the answer to any question I ask you. I just want to see if you're going to lie to me. Now, what did I ask you to do before I left? What did he ask you to do? It was like, oh, this is about to be real if I don't give the correct answer. This is like a minute to win it right here. So it's like,
yeah, like my wife say, fathers don't even have to, they don't have to do too much to get the sons. All they got to do is just be present. It's just the presence of them. But we can go on all day about fatherhood, man.
My dad was, but especially if your dad was a drill sergeant in the Army and about that life.
Yeah.
You know, no, he had a way of making sure the lesson was learned. I'll never forget one time I was just cutting up at school talking. My conduct was like bad. I don't know. I guess I like to make people laugh and learn at the same time. But my mom was telling him, you know, this teacher says that he's smart, but he won't shut up. and all the teachers agree that he's capable. He'll do the test and make an A, but he refuses to do his homework. It's just getting worse and worse. Like, and I can hear the conversation like, Mom, that's enough. Cut. Next thing I know, Redick, come here. And by the time I got upstairs and walked in the room, the belt is on the bed. My dad's just laying up on the bed. Now tell him what you told me. I'm like, oh man. I'll never forget. My mom was saying something, and I tried to interrupt her and say, no, that's not right. Because I was waiting for one part where at least, no, that's not exactly, no. My dad was like, wait, are you calling your mom a liar?
Oh God.
Ooh.
Boy, I didn't.
You're calling my wife a liar, the woman that birthed you, feeds you, takes you to school, picks you. Oh man.
You can see the physical of my son's heart.
And the next thing you know, the ashtray, the cigarette goes in the ashtray. So I want you to stretch over that bed.
Oh, there it comes.
But then there were times where I just knew I was going to catch hell. But he would flip the script. Like one time I had a BB gun and dogs were trying to jump the fence because I had a dog that was in heat.
Yeah.
And I came around the corner and I had the finger on the trigger and accidentally I had the back door, my mom's station wagon was there. I come outside and the dog runs right in front of me, and I lean back and I pull the trigger, and the baby comes out and knocks out the back window of a station wagon, power window. It was like spider web, and then crash.
Ooh.
My mom was like, I'm not even gonna deal with you. I'm gonna wait till your dad gets home. But my dad got home, and my mom had parked the car in a position where he couldn't help but see it. She wanted him to see it. I'm like, why are you moving the car? And so I'm like, I hear it's like Ralphie from the Christmas Story.
Yeah.
After he had the fight, and his dad was pulling up, he's like, oh no. And so my dad gets home, and my mom's telling him what happened. Did you see the window? I'm like, oh shit. I'm in my room just like, here, it's coming, it's cooking. And my dad calls me to the kitchen. He's like, your mom says you shut out the back window of the station wagon. I say, yeah. I do. In that situation, I'm like, I can't deny this. I can't. Yes, I did. And that's pretty cool. I always wanted to do that. Huh? What? Like, wait a minute. Yeah. Well, live through me, Dad. Live through me. I did it. I sure as hell did it. But he's been more fair, But anything disrespectful, he taught me. He's my blueprint. Kids definitely need discipline. If you allow a kid to be disrespectful, the same kid that you allow to talk back to you, eventually will get old enough to drive a car and talk back to a cop who pulled you over because he didn't like you in the first place. And now you're going to talk to him crazy. And we've seen what happened. I went to school with George Floyd, played basketball at U of H Blacktop. So for me and my son to watch TV and see someone I played basketball with as a kid literally die. My dad has a saying, sometimes you have to go alone to get alone. If it's going to allow you to breathe and see another day, it's like, that's what he told me. It's like, if I allow you to be disrespectful to your mom, to me, I'm not preparing you for the world. The world doesn't love you. We love you. So yeah, discipline is necessary, especially for our kids.
Absolutely, brother. Great story, man. Great. I know we would love to talk to you more about everything, because like I said, you got stories for days about who you met with acting, with voice acting. I seen that you did a couple of some planes or something like that. Just a couple more things, then we get you out of here. Now, were you flying, or what was it?
Ready? Come here. I'll show you who was flying.
I'm gonna get eliminated.
You're gonna get eliminated? Oh no. This is who was flying. I was in the back seat. He was in the front seat with the pilot, and he has 2 steering yokes. He let go, and my son got to fly at 3,000 feet from Southwest all the way to Galveston, over the seawall, over Kemah.
Wow.
And we did 3 touch and goes at the airstrip in Galveston, where he would land the plane. Can you get up the view? And then he would allow my son to actually take off, pull the yoke back and take off. We did that 3 times. And he acts like he forgets that he flew a plane.
Oh man, that's cool, man.
So I think tomorrow, if the weather permits, I was thinking about trying to get him back up in the air. Oh, I wasn't supposed to tell you that. Go play.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, man. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. This is actually really cool. Proud of you guys, and definitely keep me on future invite lists.
Awesome.
We'll do.
Any last question away from acting or acting? Anything that you want to ask but you haven't asked?
I think we covered everything.
Your story about how you came across Halle Berry, that made me laugh.
I was in high school. It was either 92 or 93, visiting Chicago. And I've been hearing about this Garrett Popcorn Factory, Garrett Popcorn. That was just like, you got to go to Garrett's while you're there. And so I go to Garrett's popcorn factory on Michigan Avenue. I'd never been there before. Didn't know what all the hype was about. And there's a lady in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting closer to the register. The woman in front of her had just walked up to make her order. And so I'm like, excuse me, do you have I've never been here before. Do you have a suggestion or what should I get? And no, it was the Halle Berry that turned around and told me you should get the mix. She could have told me to get dirt. I would have gotten it. You should get the dirt. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it was like a slow motion turn. Doves came from behind her.
You just started to sing.
Glitter was in the sky, or whatever they say in that song. Glitter in the air. Yeah. Glitter everywhere.
Oh
but
my God.
I mean, this is not the skinny, but the rounded face, just beautiful short hair, like medium short hair Halle Berry.
Yeah.
And it's some things you'll never forget. And when I tell you she is a natural beauty and just as cool as the other side of the pillow. Yeah. And even gave me suggestions for other places to go to, things to do while I was in, it was like Harold's Chicken. Okay, I'll go check that out. But just really cool people, down to earth. As she got to remind her of that story online, and she remembered, and she's like, "Oh, my Chicago days." Now that's somebody I would love to share the screen with. She's incredibly committed. She's just a beautiful person inside and out, but really great actress.
I agree, man. Redick, once again, appreciate you again, brother. I know we got to wrap it up and we got to let you go. Yeah. Thank you again, man. Many blessings to you, your family.
Thank you.
Keep going, man. We'll work with each other down the road. Trust me. All four of us work with each other. I already know what's gonna happen.
You know what? Like I know, like they know that if the four of us were to get together and create some magic, I have some ideas already percolating in my head. So why don't we just go ahead and plan on doing something together and getting it done?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Right there. Let's do it.
And it's going to be funny. It's going to be funny.
Oh, yes. Yes. It's already cooking up, brother.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect, bro.
So side effects include nausea, diarrhea, headache. Nausea, diarrhea. You might feel sleepy. You might not. You might go to sleep. You might not wake up.
That part when it goes like super fast to tell you patients have also experienced diarrhea, and it goes real fast.
It goes fast. It was like, hold up, wait a minute now.
Oh my God!
But look at how deceptive that is. The commercial is some birds chirping, a lady walking around and smiling and doing a little salsa. And that's stove. You might be on the porcelain throne for the next 3 days, but you'll feel better. It's like, damn.
Oh, man.
It may cause blood clots and all this other. If you are taking this and you're pregnant, I'm like, okay.
Not recommended for those who may be pregnant. I can't do it. I used to be able to do it.
Any other side effects? Talk to your physician. Like, goddamn, like, lady.
I'm dead at that point.
If you can't stop shitting, please call 911.
Damage is already done.
If you can get to the phone. Hopefully you got your phone with you.
Oh man.
The background music for that commercial should be, I get so weak in my knees I can I lose all control.
Oh my God. Brother, man.
Oh God.
It's been a joy, man. Appreciate it.
Hey man, thank y'all for having me. I really enjoyed it. Look forward to coming back.
I'm down, bro. Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.